Howdy, howdy, Earthlings. What's up? It's your dude, Born Shining here. I'm Born Shining. You're Born Shining. We're all Born Shining. Don't let nobody tell you otherwise. And if they do, probably know you can't trust them. Want to give a shout out to the Universal Life Force, great creator, great spirit, which moves through all things. Want to give a shout out to Ra, Jesus and the Ascended Masters. Want to give a shout out to the Archangel Squad. Want to give a shout out to my ancestors, spirit guides, spirit animals, crossed over loved ones, and all my friends, known and unknown, seen and unseen. I'm going to point out it might seem kind of contradictory or maybe confusing or hypocritical to include all those people to give thanks to, but kind of all comes from the same place, you know? Um, and that's maybe one of the points of this channel is to uh, stop looking at everything as it's different. And it's like when the light goes through the prism, you know what I mean? It's all light, you know what I'm saying? It's all light. It's all going to help you get to a place. uh, to separate it and make distinctions is kind of defeats the purpose as far as I see. It's like take what makes sense to you and apply it in the best way that you can, you know um, but anyways, so getting on with the video. uh, I'm just making a video because I'm scrolling through the old YouTube feed and looking at some of the titles of the videos and stuff, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who is just kind of ready, super ready for what's coming next. For the big reveal. I know I am. I'm ready for the big reveal. I'm totally ready for the big reveal to see what's going on, who's doing what, and get some more deets on this shit. Figure out who's actually doing what. And I have some ideas. I've got some opinions about what's happening in my personal life. Um, I'm just ready, man. I'm ready. I don't really give a shit about. It doesn't make me happy hearing how people are going to suffer or that they are suffering or any of that kind of stuff. Regardless of what they've done, that's not really what gets me off. What I'm looking forward to is being through that shit, holding people accountable, uh, and moving on. Get on with the show. The show must go on. And yeah, so just kind of while that's unfolding, just doing what I can to keep learning and staying positive and keep learning about myself and um, getting in touch with the spirit which moves through all things. There's so much to learn. Um, Starting to come more in uh, alignment with the job. What does this job actually entail? Because it's not something that people talk about a lot. They don't talk about, it's like, oh, if you're going to be a spiritual person, what does that look like? They'll tell you if you're going to be a religious person, you know, I mean, there's all kinds of information on that. But what does it actually mean to be spiritual? How do you walk that path in a way that you can function as a part of society that is living by completely different values, you know? So, on that note, I just got to give some love to all you out there who are walking this path and doing that, because that shit ain't easy, man. It ain't easy to walk around a bunch of zombies and interacting with a bunch of zombies and having to be a part of this world. The Matrix. You got to live. It's like you're dancing. You're doing a dance, and I got mad respect for you because I've not been doing it for very long, and I can already see that it is a dance, you know. And some people make it look really easy, and you guys get my respect for sure, and my love. And I hope you all are doing well out there in your own scenarios. I hope I hope things are just getting better and better. And if you're finding yourself in a tough spot, you know, this whole divine timing thing, I do believe, I do trust that it's gonna flip. And when it flips, you know, I in my mind's eye, it feels like the boulder is at the top of the hill, you know, and it's about to start rolling down. And once that happens, um, it is not going to be able to be stopped. Um, and that's a very good thing for everyone, you know, even the people that can't really see, even the people that feel threatened by this change, it's going to benefit them too. It's going to benefit everybody because at the end of the day, we're all here together, you know, and it's, I, this whole eye for an eye thing, you know, I'm not, I understand how the universe works as far as like balancing out the scales, you know, but I mean, I don't need to run around trying to poke people's eyes out, you know. The universe is going to do what it does, and for me, it's just about forgiving and moving on, um, taking the lessons and keeping it rolling and keep improving. And so, yeah, you know, I don't know, just ready for the next phase to kick in, you know, ready for the next chapter because it's going to be pretty awesome as far as I can tell. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but my scenario, um, what do I think is happening? Well, I think that there's a couple of different storylines happening in my realm. You know, I've got baby mama that tried to throw me under the bus and hit me with some illegal nonsense, tried to say that I'm like a child molester, a pedophile, or whatever. Um, and again, you know, as I've said before, I don't have any. I'm all. This is all in my intuition and operating on, um, and using psychics. And maybe that sounds crazy to you, but you know, to you out there that say that I sound crazy, I'd say you just don't know how the fuck anything works. You know what I mean? It's like you don't know how energy works. You know what I mean? You don't know how energy works, bro. And so your opinion of how crazy I might be really doesn't mean shit. You know? How does your heart beat, bro? Are you making your heart beat? How the fuck does that work? You know what I'm saying? So I don't really care what people think of me at this point. I know what I know. I know what I know through my experience, and I know what I know through fucking science. Because a lot of this stuff that mystics have been talking about for thousands of years now is just now being proved through instrumentation, scientific instrumentation that's measurable, that you can measure. You know, you can measure at the, I think it's the Heart Math Institute. You can measure the heartbeat uh, several meters outside of the human body. You know, and if you don't know now, you know. But don't tell me that I'm crazy because I want to listen to people that are reading energy. You know what I'm saying? And that's not where I came from. I mean, in my uh, genealogy, my heritage, yeah, that is where I came from. But in my nuclear family, we weren't raised in this stuff. They were military, yo. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're looking for physical threats. You know what I mean? They're not worried about energy and people sending bad juju. But little did I know that they were some of the same people who were using those things. And so really, you know, in my scenario, I've got that's how hard the gaslighting was these people, they knew about this stuff, they told me not to do it, or they didn't even tell me not to do it. They kind of did, but they just never brought it up. You know, they tried to protect me from it or shield me from it. Uh, when in when the reality is they know all about it. They know how it works, and they were using it against me and probably other people. Um, and you know, since then I've learned that there's a lot of people, just because the people who are talking bad about stuff are usually the people who are doing this shit. You know what I mean? It's like if you look at politicians, all these people who are talking about uh, how homosexuality is bad and all of that kind of stuff, they're usually the closet homosexuals. You know? And me personally, I don't give a shit what your sexual preference is. Just be honest. You know what I'm saying? Just be honest. How are you gonna How are you going to try to screw somebody over for doing the exact same thing that you do? That's not honest. That's shady as fuck. You know what I'm saying? You know, as far as all of that stuff goes, homosexuality, you know, there's a lot of debate on whether it's natural and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, well, let's just be real. You know what I mean? Two dudes or two women can't produce a baby. So how is that natural? All right? Just keep it simple. It doesn't need to get fucking complicated. You know what I mean? We're here to have children and procreate. You know, homosexuality is just like complete, it's just for fun. As far as I can tell, it's just like a for fun thing. That's not to say you don't love your partner, but I mean, if you're not going to produce fruit, you know what I'm saying? If that partnership isn't going to produce or yield a child, then that's not natural. You know? Again, I'm not saying you're a bad person. I'm just saying it's not normal. I think, you know, in fact, I do believe that like it's okay to be an effeminate man. You don't have, that doesn't mean you need to be gay. That doesn't mean that you need to sleep with dudes just because you have more feminine energy. That doesn't make you gay. You know what I mean? Or if you're a masculine female, that doesn't mean that you need to act like a man. You know what I mean? Like you can be still be a female, but just you're more masculine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, you know? But to say that, you know, the whole idea of being homosexual and shit, it just doesn't it doesn't have a point to me beyond self gratification. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of other things that fall along those lines that people would, you know, like doing heroin. You know what I mean? In light of that, those two things aren't very dissimilar. You know what I mean? It's like you're not sleeping with, if you're a woman, you're not sleeping with women because you're going to make a child. Just like the heroin addict is not doing heroin because, you know, they want to fucking get enlightened. You know what I mean? It's all just self gratification. And as far as the homosexuality stuff goes, uh, I think that that's just another, it's another, if you're not going to be making children, why, if you're not making children, I think that there's, I'm not saying everybody that is homosexual likes children, okay? I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that like like pedophilia, pedophiles, you know, there's no, that's just unnecessary. It's just nonsensical, you know? And a lot of the people, especially in politics, that are homosexual, they are involved in pedophilia, okay? That's a huge market. It's a huge market. And if you don't know now, you know, all right? And so, you know, part of the thing that I'm doing on this channel is talking about controversial subjects that I think ought to be discussed. But I, you know, at the same time, or not, but, and at the same time, I'm, I'm alleviating people from feeling guilty or pointing the finger at anybody. You know what I mean? Like, except for the very people that deserve it. You know, the people who deserve it. You know. So I'm not saying that homosexuality is bad. I'm just saying it's not going to produce any children. So it's just for fun. You know what I mean? Like it couldn't be natural. It's not natural because it doesn't lead to children. So, and if nature was gay, you know, probably wouldn't be so abundant. You know what I mean? And you know, there's all kinds of people who are going to be fighting for that. Uh, that apes, that male apes and shit, jerk each other off or whatever the fuck, you know. I mean, whatever, bro. If that's how far you need to go to prove your point, like, go for it. But I mean, simple logic will tell you that if a relationship, a physical relationship with another person is not going to yield children, then how can that be natural? It's just self gratification, you know? So, anyways, I don't know how we got onto that, but it came up, so it needed to be discussed, I guess. Yeah, I'm ready for, you know, and kind of, I mean, that could be my situation too. You know, I think I was raped as a child. I was definitely beat up. No doubt about it. More than once, because there was one situation where I was beat up and I talked with people about it, and I knew about it even when I was younger. I knew I knew kind of the details, but again, the mind will compartmentalize things to protect you. So, did I have all the answers and all the stuff? Maybe, maybe not. But as I grew older and I realized like there's more going on here, and I was listening to the psychics and I'm listening to the people who are talking, reading the energy, um, and these memories start coming back about how how I was different. Yeah, I do think that I there was some stuff going on, and even in my family, like I I don't know the whole story, you know, and so that's kind of coming full circle. It's like I'm so ready to get these details and get this information. I don't know exactly what's coming down the pike, but I'm ready for it. I'm ready for anything, and I'm ready to hold people accountable. I'm not gonna harbor hate in my heart, but I'm definitely gonna hold people accountable, and people should be held accountable because that's the only way that anything changes. You know, people in government can run around and do all kinds of stupid shit, and they still have their job. Where else are you gonna do that? You know what I mean? Where else are you gonna do that? Where else can you go and completely fuck off and you still have a job? I mean, that doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. So, you know, and I just want to say, it might seem like I'm being negative or whatever, and to that I would say it's like, how do you fix something if you don't know what's the problem? You know what I mean? Doctors got to look at the wound or the illness or whatever to come up with a prescription. I mean, it's true. You could just start doing the right thing. You could just start eating healthy, and you could just completely switch up your whole regimen and just start doing the things that you know are healthy. Um, I'd say that that's maybe a rare thing, um, but it is possible. It is possible. But usually people just want to treat what's wrong, you know. So I'll give you that. And to that, I'd say you got to look at the problem. You got to figure out, well, what is the problem? What could be improved? What's going on here that I feel like can be improved? Now, the trick is to not dwell on it and not, like I might have said it in a video the other day, but like we don't need a war against corruption. You know, we just need to move towards um, harmony and move towards the things that we want. And a byproduct of that is going to be eliminating corruption. You know, people who are interested in corruption or using corruption or want to be a part of that are probably going to be less inclined if they know that there's a bunch of people out there. They're going to start holding their government officials accountable. Just makes sense. Like if you're a vegan, you're not going to go to the barbecue. You know what I mean? And expect people to be okay. Like you can throw your eggplant on the barbecue. You know, or whatever. So I'm just ready, man. I'm ready. I'm so ready for a change in the way things are operating. I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready. I'm ready to learn the nasty truth. You know what I mean? I'm ready to hear the truth, rip the band-aid off, as it were. Um, I understand the divine timing and everything, and I'm getting more comfortable with it, and just doing what I can in the meantime to keep myself mm, moving forward, making progress, moving forward. And yeah, so anyways, I think that that's probably good for now. We're almost at, we pretty close to 20 minutes. But yeah, you know, that's it. Love you. Ciao.